Well, good morning, and surprise, surprise, surprise. Not John, not Noah. I'm afraid you're stuck with me. Chris Bershon behind the mic just for the first part of your Call Flow show, as we have a special interview with some guests for you. And then a little later, as John mentioned, your interview there for New Hampshire Sydney coach. But for now, we are talking about Longwood Theatre. And yes, the show must go on, weather impendingness aside. We open Thursday. I have with us, we have a whole nice mix. We have cast, we have crew, and we have director. With us, director Jeffrey Todd Parrott of the faculty. We have our stage manager from our tech side, Sierra Yule, and one of our actors who has been on Call Flow with us before, Rainn Pence. Good morning, all.
Good morning. Good morning.
I know it got you up early. You got free donuts, so you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed now, right?
Yeah.
So, Todd, let's start with you. So, when y'all were discussing different shows and bringing shows to the table, as the faculty does, why this one?
Yeah, so, when again, this is my first year here, and when they asked me, okay, what's the first musical you want to do, the first one I said was, I want to do Little Women.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a perfect show for this community and for the school, and we've given it some additional intentionality with we've placed our entire production in a library, which I feel like is just a perfect love letter to this community in terms of literacy and the importance of reading and everything, and just the educational kind of monument that Longwood has been also in the community, and also just the important role that reading and writing and storytelling plays within the story of Little Women itself too.
Right.
So I just feel like it was the perfect match, and it was kind of like a duh. We're going to do this.
Well, and back in Jarman, so
Yes.
This is a Jarman production, so you can go on a grander scale and go bigger. And what better idea if you can make it larger than we're going to do a massive library and everything.
Yes, it's a giant library, 2-story set, 14-piece orchestra. Yes, we are back in Jarman, and you will certainly see it and feel it and hear it when you come check us out.
And it's been a good while, Chicago, several years since we've been.
Yeah, I think 5 years. 5 years since we released
in Jarman. So
yeah.
that is a big plus. So, Rainn, you have done a lot of roles recently in the last few years. How does this role compare, and what character do you play?
So I play Jo. I play Jo March. She is the second oldest of the March sisters and the one who wants to be a writer. As far as my other roles and how this one's been different, because it's a musical, that's a whole nother ball game. You have so much music on top of all the lines that you have to learn. And the music is definitely the more challenging part because there's a lot more that goes into it. But for me, definitely, it was a lot more work for Jo than some of my other roles have been. And she's been a lot more difficult for me, but a good difficult. She's pushing me to be better. So.
And good. That's what a role should do, right? Because you are one of those people, acting is what you're going, or you're not a theater ed. So you need different experiences to expand and build on that. So that's great to hear.
Exactly.
Excellent. Wonderful to hear. And now, Sierra, you've done assistant stage manager work before, right?
No, I haven't.
You weren't even an assistant. I thought you were an assistant on one of the previous shows. So this is your first foray into stage management.
Yes.
And what's that experience been like?
It's been a quite different experience. I'm used to being on the stage, so being behind the scenes is a different experience and ballpark. It's been quite challenging at times, but I feel like I've grappled a good sense of what it's like to be a stage manager and what it is to take on the roles of communication throughout the different teams to put together this wonderful production.
Well, let's talk about that. A lot of people may not know what exactly is the job of a stage manager on a production.
Well, we make sure the director is able to get communication to publicity, costumes, scenic, props, wardrobe, all of that. I make sure the actors are called at the specific time. I make sure the actors are going to their fitting times. I'm making sure that the set is getting done in a manageable time. Props are in the hands of actors as fast as possible. Just a lot of communication throughout the different teams, and I'm just the center of that, making sure everybody hears everything.
You are the hub of the production wagon wheel.
Yes.
The glue.
Well, and it all of the jobs are vital. That's one of the things that to me has always been interesting of theater. It cannot be done if you lose any of those one aspects. Even whether it's a musical or just a straight play. You have to have your lighting people. You have to have your set people, your sound people, your management people. Without any of those pieces, the production doesn't happen.
Yes.
Or it may happen, but you don't want to see it. Right? It's pretty terrible. So, of course, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the impending weather. Pretty much know we're going to get something, but as we say in theater, the show must go on. And so performances are scheduled to occur exactly as planned, right?
Correct.
So we are looking to open on Thursday, Friday and Saturday, 7, 2 o'clock on Sunday. However, I will say, as the front of house person, if you have a ticket for Thursday night and the university closes and therefore we cannot perform, your ticket will be honored for any other performance. That's how we're going to deal with this to make sure people get to see the show. You guys have put a tremendous amount of work in, and not just the three. I know everybody involved in this. It's very costume heavy, so they have done a massive amount of work. And we should shout out, as far as costumes, because we have brought in a special designer for this.
Special guest artist Greg Horton, visiting us from North Carolina. He came up and designed all of the costumes that you're going to see. A lot of the dresses have been, built from the ground up. Yeah. It's truly a sight to behold. Yeah, you're not going to want to miss that. And I also just want to echo too. This truly is like one of the largest productions we have done in a very long time. Yeah. You don't want to miss everything that's gone into this. Yeah, really. I do urge you, if for whatever reason that Thursday does not happen, please come another night. We want you to see this show. The actors have done so much work, as Rainn mentioned, between the lines and the music, and there's some big production aspects of this. So I know that's been a lot on y'all. Scott and the building of this huge 2-story set, Greg and Emma for the week have been sewing and and hand making all of these dresses. I mean, the set alone, I think our students built something like 15, 16, 17 bookcases for the library. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't even include all the all the books that have been painted
all the books
for the bookshelves.
Exactly.
So
it is a massive production on a larger scale than what we normally have the chance to do. I think would be a fair statement. So other aspects, are there specific things that each of you from productions you've worked on in the past? What would you say is the one thing with this performance being so different? Because I know it's for first time in Jarman for both of you. Yeah. Well, for you
me as well.
For you as well. So, and a Jarman production, as I mentioned to several students who have not been involved, this is not the same. This is very different. It is a lot more. It's 5 times as much work. What is the thing now, having worked on this performance, that you've learned that's different from any that you've done before? What would you say this has really taught you that you didn't deal with in the past?
For me, honestly, I think this has taught me that I have what it takes to make it. Because this is such a, like you said, it's a much larger scale production than we've ever done, than I've ever been a part of here. Yeah. And it has been a lot of work, and it's been difficult at times, but at the end of the day, I'm super prepared, and I'm really excited to go on, and it just goes to show me, I think, that this is definitely my passion. This is what I'm meant to do.
Good. That's part of what college is about. Find what you love. Find your passion.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I feel like for me, Jarman is a much larger space. Normally we're in our main stage space, which is more of a flexible black box performance venue. And so I've been pleasantly surprised in Jarman that even though it's a larger space, larger scale, our students have still really been able to hold on to the truthfulness of the story, and also, even though it's in Jarman, it still feels extremely intimate. You feel like you're in the room with these characters.
Wonderful.
And I think that's a testament to our students and the kind of caliber that of the work that they do here at Longwood.
Excellent. Sierra, what about you?
I would say the difference between being in Jarman versus the main stage is being able to call the actors during intermission. That's, for me personally, is the biggest, most challenging thing. But also seeing how much the set is brought to life in a bigger space versus a smaller one. You could add so many little things to make the story come to life. And I really love that about Jarman.
All the details
you
can do.
I don't think we would be able to have a book library.
No, I don't think this set you would be able to do in maybe if you took all the seats out and had no audience, exactly. Then maybe. Yeah. Well, of course, as was mentioned, performance is set to open Thursday evening at 7. It's also Friday night at 7, Saturday at 7, and then a Sunday matinee at 2. If you have not gotten your tickets yet, there are still seats available. Of course, we have a lot more since we are in Jarman. You can get those by going to the box office, which is on campus in the Joan Perry Brock Convocation Center. The box office there is open weekdays from 10 until 4. Or you can go online, longwood.edu/box office, and follow the link to buy tickets. If you've never bought tickets before, you will have to create an account. So when you look at that page and go, what do I do? Hit the create account and off you go. So there are seats available. And I will say again, we're fingers crossed, but if the university closes Thursday and we do have to cancel that performance and you have a ticket for Thursday, your ticket will be honored at any of the other 3 performances. So we hope you can join us.
Yes, please.
I think this is going to be an amazing show. It has. I keep forgetting how long it's been since we've been in Jarman, and that really none of the students, even the seniors, have never done a performance in Jarman.
Right.
So it's got to be a great experience for the students, because for some of you, this will be your only chance.
Exactly. I've only heard rumors about
Jarman.
Jarman.
Rumors of being in Jarman.
Yes.
Yeah, and now that you're in there.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, the rumors were true.
And that's, I think, part of the wonderful aspects of theater, being able to use that space. It gives you as students the closest you're going to really get to what a real performance space is like.
Yeah.
If you're really on the stage. Well, thank you all so much. I cannot wait. Of course, I only get to see bits and pieces, so it's just as exciting for me as like any other audience member. I'm not there at rehearsals or any of that stuff, so I always look forward to it and am always amazed. I am sure I will be astounded as usual. I've always said theater students do an amazing job. I guarantee you will be surprised at the level of talent that we have at the university and within our community, because we've had some community members work with us as well. So we invite you to come and join us. Remember, performances are at Jarman Auditorium, not in C-Stack. All right, I am going to let John and Noah get back in here and get to the phones and take your calls. Thank you all again.
Thank you.
WFLO AM 870 and the Call Flow Radio Show. We want to thank Chris Brochon bringing in the Longwood Theatre students and discussing the play that they are performing.
Yes, yeah.
And so now we are going to kill enough time to get us to the bottom of the hour, and then later we will be playing that interview with sports reporter Luke Lindquist, interviewing the New Hampton Sydney baseball coach Michael Mulvey.
Michael Mulvey.
Michael Mulvey.
Michael Mulvey.
Mulvey.
Yeah, it sounds like a villain.
Mulvey.
Villain name.
Or an actor or something.
Or an actor. Yeah.
Starring Michael Mulvey.
Michael Mulvey this summer.
In a world of, hey, there's Michael Mulvey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, John, look, since we don't have a whole lot of time, and, we
and
do
time
have...
is short. Yeah.
Time is short.
Yeah.
Thank you. How was your morning, sir? How was the...
Oh, it was great. I mean, the stream wasn't working this morning. Yeah. It's been a nice morning.
Yeah, I heard you had to restart the computer. The Windows updates.
Microsoft. The one you can't tell anything's wrong with.
Yeah,
just by looking at it.
Yeah. Well, John, computer problems are actually more difficult than you would think. It seems on the surface everything's fine, and then you start to investigate a little bit. You realize you have an ordeal on your hands. Yeah.
So how was your morning?
My car didn't start this morning.
Wow, so you had a nice
My
morning.
battery was dead, I guess. I don't know. I have to take it to a mechanic. Also, my girlfriend's birthday is today, so I really need my car to be able to pick up the cake. So
you're not making your own cake?
No, John. Come on, look at me. Do I look like a baker? Do I have one of those hats?
You look like a pastry chef.
Pastry chef? Yeah. Because I'm portly. No, I'm kidding.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
Okay.
It's that chef hat you keep wearing everywhere.
Sure. You're right, John. You're right. I do wear a chef hat.
I'm a chef.
I'm a chef.
Chef Tell, Chef Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I got. My car didn't
So
start.
you're going to include her on the birthdays?
Of course, that was the special birthday that I'm going to be telling. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, I already kind of spoiled it.
Yeah, you let the cat
all right. Well,
out the bag.
John, look.
You let Jeff the cat out the bag.
I let my cat out of the bag. Yeah. Well, John, hey, I wanted to ask you: are you going to go see that play? I'm really interested. Little Women. I haven't seen a play version of that before. So, have you?
No.
Oh, you're joking?
No.
Okay. Oh, you're being serious. I can tell.
Yeah, serious. No, I've never. No. Never. Have you read the book or something? Or
I've heard the story abbreviated. Yeah.
Abbreviated
version.
You mean you read the the thing at on the back of the book?
I read the little blurb at the very end of the book. Yeah, and just like, okay, sounds. I know it's a classic story. Is what it is. Yeah, and then also the fact that the theater is performing it. It brings the story to life even more than it normally would reading it. So. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great thing. And I hope they have a great turnout. It should be an excellent play. So,
you know what else is great?
Sure.
Pluto was discovered on this day by Clyde Tombaugh in 1930.
Let me ask you, John. When you were in school, did you do any plays at all?
One.
What was it called?
The Carousel.
What was it about?
Good question.
Yeah, you don't. Okay.
It was something about a guy and a girl in love, and he ends up, I don't know if he got shot, and I don't think he dies. I don't think so. Maybe he does. I shot him. I know that much.
You shot the guy with a gun?
I shot the guy. Oh, yeah.
Like in this building? In the school?
In the school, yeah. 3 nights I did that. With blanks, of course.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, blanks are still dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, so.
Yeah, the guy that, lent me his gun and provided the blanks showed me that blanks can still be dangerous by putting the gun right up to a can. And he then shot it across the stage with the blank.
Yeah.
So, no, I was very cautious.
Okay.
But they knew when it came to rootin', tootin', shooting that I was the one to come to play that part.
Yeah. Well,
we need a John Wayne type. Oh, I know. Let's get John to
John Staten, because his name's John.
Yes.
So, of course.
There you go.
All right. Well, that's a cool Carousel. Yeah. Is that like a popular one? I feel like
I'm not so theater, whatever that I would
theater
know.
Minded.
Yeah.
John.
I mean, I wanted to do acting. I don't know about stage acting, but.
Well, what is the difference? Because you've done more acting than me. I've done this is my version of acting right here.
Well, if you were asking a true thespian,
yeah,
I guess they would say even movie actors would say stage acting is the real acting.
Interesting.
Because you're performing it all right then and there. Mm-hmm. There's no stop and go like it is on a movie set or a television set where everything is wait, and then shoot the scene.
Yeah, you can retake, you can edit, you can just totally scrap parts that didn't work.
But most of the time they're talking about having to wait, whether it's in a dressing room or something like that, or waiting on set, or whatever the case may be, for the right lighting or the right whatever the conditions are. And so actors tend to, for the most part that I've ever heard interviews and stuff,
they tend to take a lot of naps.
Well, that more importantly, they just mentioned the stage acting is what they are more into. Not all, but a lot of them I have heard over the years mention, theater is where it's at. I would prefer to be on the stage. I would prefer to perform. It's all in the performance night and all that sort of stuff.
It's more genuine. It's less rehearsed.
And maybe I'm looking at it through rose-colored glasses. I'm thinking the movies would be more fun to make. And maybe they would be. I don't know what would suit me, but I never made a movie.
Yeah.
So
you show. Slow down there, sir.
Well, not an actual...
Take it back a
not
couple
an
of
actual
notches.
Hollywood-produced movie.
Yeah, John, that's right. You've never been to Hollywood. Well, you've been to Hollywood.
Yes.
You've never shot a movie in Hollywood. You're not an acclaimed director and or actor. No. But you've made movies, sir.
I have made
You
movies.
have made the movies.
Home movies, yes.
I've seen these movies.
Yes.
You've shown them to me.
Yes.
Sometimes forcibly. I'm like, get that away. And you're like, take a look, bud.
Yeah, because
I
always do
look at this part. And I got to say, John.
Hot in here, yes.
Is it hot?
It's getting that way.
Well,
go ahead.
Take your jacket off. I got to say, these movies are honestly, like the stunts, it reminds me of a Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, that would have been the era.
Yeah.
So
the inspiration, even. Yeah.
Well, maybe so with the double takes.
Possibly. Yeah.
But I was influenced by a lot of different stuff.
Okay.
It wasn't just one thing.
Yeah.
So,
John Wayne.
A few more syllables to say.
Okay.
We may even get it to.
Right. Well, we do have to. Well, John, are you excited for the sports interview? I know you're a big sports guy. You love the sports.
The only one that loves it more than me is Danny.
Oh, Danny Husky.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He's the only one.
Wait, so you don't like sports? Is it?
No, I like sports fine, but our time is up. So the weather is being brought to you by Harold W. Collins and Grading, located at 2113 Cumberland Road, Farmville.
Harold W. Collins Clearing and Grading has been helping to build Southside and Central Virginia since 1960, providing all excavation, general contracting, and hauling needs. 5 miles north of Farmville, 2113 Cumberland Road, at the intersection of 45 and Range Tavern Road. Call 392-6010 or stop by Harold W. Collins Clearing and Grading.
And your weather forecast for today, partly sunny with a... No, the mic's... I push the mic up and it automatically goes back down for some reason. Partly sunny for today with a high near 43. Then tonight it's a 20% chance of snow with a low around 22. And then Wednesday it's a 80% chance of snow, a high near 26, accumulation 1 to 3 inches possible. Wednesday night, a 60% chance of snow with a low around 19, accumulation 1 to 2 inches possible. Thursday, it's a 40% chance of snow with a high near 33. Accumulation of snow less than a half inch possible. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low around 15. Right now in Farmville, humidity is 51%. Winds are 3 miles per hour. Cloudy skies here in Farmville. 33 here at WFLO, AM 870. And the weather brought to you by Harold W. Collins and Grading. Call 434-392-6010. The birthday calendar is brought to you by Creative Electrical Contractors, located at 1907 East 3rd Street, Farmville.
Creative Electrical Contractors specializes in commercial and industrial projects and offers quality work at competitive prices. CEC is a licensed Class A contractor in Virginia and North Carolina. Creative Electrical Contractors has been in business for 25 years, still committed to the values that were established when the company opened in 1998. Integrity, quality workmanship, and timely delivery. CEC, located at 1907 East 3rd Street, Farmville. You can contact CEC at 434-392-3802 or at creative-electrical.com.
All right, birthday and possibly anniversary time here on WFLO AM 870. And with those birthdays for today, Tuesday, February 18th, I present to you Noah Massage.
John. How's it
That's
going?
my name. Don't wear it out.
All right. Always with the jokes.
Okay.
We got some birthdays today. We got some good birthdays, all right? Starting off the list, John, we have Kate Knight is celebrating today, as well as Edith Smith, Dimitri Johnson. Also having an anniversary today is Ashley and Carlos Hernandez. Another birthday for the list, Marianne Friedel, I think. Marianne Friedel. Does that sound right? Does
Spell that for me. Use that in a sentence.
Okay, I'm going to spell it.
Okay.
Mirian.
Let me see it. Just out of curiosity.
It's the top one on the 18th.
Top one on the 18th.
Yeah.
Let's see.
John's going to get his magnifying glasses. All right.
Miriam Friedel.
What did I say?
I have no idea.
I said Friedel. I did say Friedel.
Okay.
You can
I have
look
no
back.
I have no
Miriam.
clue what you were saying.
You said Miriam.
Miriam.
But you say Miriam. Miriam?
Miriam.
Anyways, also celebrating, that's so not important right now, Catherine Baldridge. So that's going to be the list for today, John. And if people want to get birthdays to us, they can call in at 434-394-0924 or email us birthdays@wflo.net. You can also go to the website, wflo.net, under the on-air mentions page. There's a section for birthdays. You can submit birthdays directly from our website. John, back to you.
All right, the birthday calendar brought to you by Creative Electrical Contractors. If it is not right, we will make it right. Call 434-392-2802. And as promised, we're going to play now the interview with our sports reporter Luke Lindquist, interviewing New Hampton-Sydney baseball coach Michael Mulvey.
Hey, folks, it is WFLO Sports here. Luke Lindquist with the head coach of Hampton-Sydney baseball, Michael Mulvaney. How are you, Michael?
Good, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great today. So our season got postponed due to weather, and that means we're going to be starting against Greensboro on the road this Tuesday. Is there a shift in the game plan going from a 3-game opener to just a 1-day thing?
I don't think it changes a whole lot. You know, that's part of baseball. It's a spring sport, right? So you got to be able to adapt and deal with the weather, and that's something that we've talked with the guys about. So it's 3 games versus 1 game doesn't change a whole lot. We're gonna do everything we can to show up and be ready to go physically and mentally.
Absolutely. Now, this is your first head coaching gig, but you've coached quite a bit after college. You coached for a collegiate summer league, and then you've coached in D3 at Denison, at Misericordia, at Muskegum. You've been around, at least in this area, but with it being your first time as a head coach, what is the difference that you're feeling?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference. You know, I think it's easy to be the one who kind of recommends what you think you should do as an assistant to the head coach. But when you're in the big chair and you're the one making the decisions, it is a little bit different. But you know, I think the coaching community in general, really, I know specifically with baseball it is, but I'm assuming it's probably the same for a lot of college sports or sports in general. You know, you have your mentors and the people that you trust, and if you're faced with situations that you're not entirely sure on or how to handle it or what to do, you can rely on those folks to impart on their experience and their wisdom. But the ability to create something, I think, is really special. I think it's really cool, and I think that you know, knowing that you can have a pretty big impact on these guys' lives and how they go moving forward is really special. It's not wins and losses are obviously important, right? We're judged on that, and you know, that's kind of what the outside sees looking in, but you know, they don't see the day-to-day interactions with the guys, the growth personally and as a player, and I think those are the things that make, you know, being a coach so special. So to be able to have some control of that, I think is really special, and it's not something that I value lightly.
I love that, man. What I have seen is a special thing for you. You're coming specifically from coaching at your alma mater. Now, you had lots of success there in the program. Your team in 2011-2012 was the first team since 1978-79 to go back-to-back with D3 national championships. What have you learned both as a player and then under such a tenured coach there after 21 seasons of being with your head coach? Remind us of his name.
Yeah, Coach Brewer, Ryan Brewer at Marietta College he's one of the best, man. He's one of the best to do it. You know, there's obviously a reason why those guys have been successful for so long. It started with Coach Don Shalley, who took over there and really built it into what it was, or is, I should say. And little fun fact, actually, so the Division III College Baseball World Series used to be played in Marietta, Ohio. And at the time when it kind of started, Division II and Division III were playing together. Mm-hmm. And the final year when D2 and D3 teams were mixed, Marietta was the only Division III team out of the field of 8. You know, the other 7 schools were Division II schools. So it's a place that tradition. The tradition there is baseball, right? They've got 6 national championships, 7-time national runner-up. It's a place where they've been doing it for a really long time at a high level. So, like I said, it started with Coach Shalley, and Coach Brian Brewer took the reins from him. So they've had 2 head coaches there in close to 70 years, which I think in today's day and age is really unique, but also shows the continuity and the ability to have success there. But I think some of the biggest things that I've been able to take away is just the day-to-day routines, right? It's people think success is an upward path, and it's really easy, and it's just you go from A to B, but that's not what it looks like, right? There's peaks, there's valleys, there's ups and downs, and it's the consistency in your approach with how you go about your day, how you go about your training is where we start to see some growth. And I think some of those things are starting to take place here within our roster right now, which is really encouraging. There has to be a knowledge of the game, and there has to be an ability to know what you're teaching. Without that, you're probably not in the right line of work. But it's some of those other things as far as the culture, the mental toughness, and just the day-to-day grind were things that were imparted on me, not only as a player but also as an assistant coach. And again, hopefully, those experiences will allow us to be successful here.
Absolutely. Now, talking about that consistency, those day-to-day things, for some of these players, it almost felt like martial law when you came in here with your coaching style, with all of the routine, being on time, being there and being with the program. How has that start in the fall felt like, and how has the players and the mentality of the team shifted to where we are now going into the season?
We actually just talked about this. We had a meeting last night, and I feel as though, I say it's also our entire coaching staff, feels as though that this group has done a tremendous job of taking to what it is that we're trying to do. There was a sense of hunger from them and a sense of want to be able to see what success looks like. And there were some times in the fall where it was not smooth, right? It was a little rough. It was a little patchy. And I think once guys were starting to understand what was expected of them and what the standard was, and it kind of smoothed out a little bit from there. And there will. I tell this to the guys all the time. It's never, like I said earlier, it's never a one-way track, right? Every day is full of decisions, right? It's very easy to slip into old bad habits if you allow those things to happen. So it's the decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis that are going to allow us to continue to move forward as a group. And one of the things that I just said the word group, but one of the things that we've talked about is this group becoming a team versus a group of people. And I think that we're getting there. I really do. I believe that there's a true care for one another. There's a true trust in one another, and the next guy up has your back regardless of the situation or circumstance. So, in the fall, it was like I said, we were putting them in some difficult situations, making sure that they understood what was expected of them, and I think we've come a long way since then, and understanding the type of work that is required if you want to win championships, right? So. And a lot of these things are parallel to life. It's not just sports or not just baseball, right? If you want to be successful in whatever line of work you want to do, whether it's your job or having a family, a husband, uncle, cousin, whatever it is, I mean, these are things that are life values that we're trying to instill in these guys, and I think they've done a phenomenal job here moving forward of buying into it.
Absolutely. Talking about getting people to buy into this, there is a new man on the coaching personnel, Chad Ween. And he's coming in. Is he a replacement to Robbie Bailey, who resigned last month, or how is he fitting into the group in the coach's room? Yeah,
so Coach Bailey, we appreciate all of his efforts. He did a really good job here, and he was here for a long time. But at this time, he decided to kind of get out of the coaching world and do something that was a little bit of a better situation for him and his family. So he'll still be around. He's still in the area, so I'm sure we'll see him and his family at some games and at the ballpark. But as a result of the vacancy there, we looked for an assistant to fill that position, and Coach Ween has done a phenomenal job. I mean, he's full of energy. He's a very enthusiastic guy, but I think the guys really enjoy being around him. He's really passionate, and again, he has a strong understanding of what success looks like and how to coach it. So he's coming to us from Salisbury University, one of the best Division III programs in the country, highly respected. They've had a lot of success the last handful of years. Last year they led the country in runs per game, 22 national runner-up, 21 World Series national champions. So we're very fortunate, especially kind of the time of the year, right? It's not always the easiest to hire a quality candidate, 3 weeks before the start of a season. So the fact that we were able to land him is a really good get for us, and he's done a phenomenal job with taking the reins of our offense and doing what we want him to do. Along with the offensive side of things as well, too, he'll assume the role as our recruiting coordinator. The recruiting side of things for us is a little bit quiet, just with us being in season, and a lot of the high school kids are getting ready to ramp up as well too. So, but once the summer gets here, you'll see him on the road quite a bit, getting out there and preparing us for this next incoming class.
Fantastic. More on this topic of success in the coaching realm. In the fall, there was rumor that there was a Vanderbilt alumni from their national championship team from last decade. Can you comment on that for us?
I can, yeah. So, Coach, I'll probably just go through the whole staff real quick, right? So, we just hired Coach Ween as the full-time assistant role. Coach Billy Catron, is an assistant for us as well, too. His roles will include infield and then our catchers. Coach Treisler is a assistant as well. He works here on campus and is also an alum. He's been here for a few years since his college days ended, but he'll assist as well, too. And then to round out the staff is Coach Pfeiffer. So Phil, from Tennessee originally, and moved to the area. It was kind of a weird, strange story, not one that you probably get a whole lot in Farmville, but just got an email saying, hey, my playing career's done. My wife and I moved to the area. We're going to run a farm. Can I help out in some capacity? And I was like, all right, well, let me kind of look into this guy a little bit. And like you said, he's went to Vanderbilt, was on one of their national championship teams, draft pick out of Vanderbilt, and I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head, but I think he had a 4 or 5 year pro career, and was with the Giants, the Dodgers, the Braves. He got up to the bigs for a short while as well too. So it was a pretty easy decision for me to say, yeah, you can come by and help out. So he's around, and he kind of helps with the pitching side of things as well too. So we got a little bit of everything, kind of a jack of all trades on the coaching staff, but it's a good staff, and they're hungry, and we're passionate about taking this thing where we want to go.
Absolutely. Now, taking it into the season, you have a very front-loaded home schedule. 14 of your first 20 games are at home, and out of your last 7 conference games, they're all on the road, only broken up with 2 out-of-conference matchups here at Hampton-Sydney. What is the thought process behind approaching that schedule, with so much of it being at home early and then being just away from home, away from the fans later on?
Some of that is predetermined, as far as the conference slate goes. We flip-flop every other year for who gets home field advantage on those days. But the early home slate is really just due to where we are in the country, right? There's a lot of northern teams that in the months of mid to late February and early March that are looking and willing to travel to southern states where they can play games, in better, warmer weather. So we're going to utilize that and use it to our advantage as much as we possibly can. So that unfortunately, Mother Nature had something to say about it this coming weekend. But for the next 2 weekends, we've got some really good opponents that are coming into town, and it's just in the spirit of what we're trying to do here. We're going to play anyone, anywhere, at any time, right? It doesn't matter whether it's at their place, our place, or somewhere in the middle. We're not going to shy away from competition. Again, I think if we're going to try to move this in the direction that we want to move, that's got to be our mindset, right? So we've got a really good conference schedule, obviously, with the teams that we play in. The ODAC, Lynchburg was a preseason top 25. Randolph-Macon was as well, too. Shenandoah is not, but there's a really good chance those guys will probably creep up into the top 25 at some point this season, right? So we've got 3 really, really good programs right out of the gate, plus the success and the history that Bridgewater has, Roanoke. It's a really good baseball conference. So if we're going to prepare ourselves to compete and win those games, we've got to make sure that we're doing it against quality opponents, especially early in the season. Non-conference-wise, we've got some really good opponents with North Carolina Wesleyan, who's a top 25 team, Mary Washington for a home and home. Those guys have made regional appearances the last couple of years. They play in a really good conference as well too, with Christopher Newport and Salisbury. And we've got Christopher Newport as well for 2 games. Those guys are top 25. And lastly, to kind of round it out, is Rowan University out of New Jersey. We've got those guys, top 25 for a 3-game set. Franklin and Marshall is a top 3 or 4 team in their conference. So we're going to get tested pretty early. But again, let's play, right? It doesn't matter who's on the other side. What matters is our guys, how we prepare, how we show up. It doesn't necessarily matter what's on the other side. We're gonna do what we need to do to play Hampton-Sydney baseball.
Absolutely. Now, you brought up the Macon game. Now, it's special this year. The Macon home game is going to be for the first time in a primetime slot under the new lights at Ty Cobb Ballpark. Is there going to be any scheduled changes maybe later on to make more night games, or what's your approach to having the lights for the field?
The lights have been fantastic. We're immensely thankful to the folks that were in support of that program, or excuse me, that design and allowed it to happen. It's going to make a huge impact in our program and the ability for us to play games, but also when we can practice and how much we can develop our players. We're getting into our 4th week of our season here, and I think we've used them at least 3 to 4 days a week when we're out there. So they're fantastic. Our guys love them, and our fans are going to love the experience of watching baseball under the lights. It's just something a little bit different about it. The Macon game is going to be really cool. We're really excited about it. I talked with Coach Hedrick over there, and he was all in favor of it. 7 p.m. first pitch under the lights. It's on April 1st, so hopefully the weather's going to be pretty good for us. That's the only true night game that we have is a 7 o'clock start at the moment. But a lot of our games are at 4, so we're going to turn them on at some point, right? Whether it's in the 4th or 5th inning or later on. So moving forward, there is the potential, to have more of those 7 o'clock starts. But I think for the first year of us having them, bringing Macon in and having those guys play us under the lights, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited about it. I've had a chance to see obviously the football atmosphere and the basketball game as well too. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like on the baseball side of things as well.
Absolutely. Do you think that's going to help out with the bounce back from our games against Macon last year? I mean, being 22-9 for some of the scores, it was pretty rough at a time there.
Yeah, and again, part of what we've been talking with the guys about is regardless of who we're playing, right? It's us, right? So whether it's Macon at 7 o'clock under the lights or next Tuesday at 4 o'clock at Greensboro, regardless of who it is, we're going to show up and we're going to play our game, and some of those outside circumstances, they shouldn't affect us a whole lot. So regardless of what happened last year, our focus is on this year. We're moving forward, and we're going to do everything we can to win every game.
I love that. A short baseball memory, as it should be. Now, last question for you. I've been told that you and your wife, Lindsay, here have a golden retriever. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
And what's its name?
Harley. So you do your homework, man. You got some good info here. So, our dog, Harley, you'll probably see her around. So my wife, when I first came in August, she was back in Ohio for a few months, and we were kind of making the move slowly. So she's here now full time, and I'm sure you'll see her walking around campus. But Harley is our golden retriever. She just turned 8, so she's got a little bit of white in the face. But we call that wisdom. But super friendly. You'll see her around. We had her in one of the football tailgates in a tiger outfit, so she's all in. But super friendly, and if you've got any food on with you, I'm sure she's going to try to beg from you if she smells that. But I'm sure you'll see them both walking around on campus here at some point.
Absolutely. Now, a quick superstition question. Some folks, as coaches, don't like their wives or family to be at the games, and vice versa. Will we see Lindsay and Harley at any of these matchups this year?
I think you will, and I think my wife will. She would admit to this too. She's a little bit of a fair weather fan, right? If we've got rain or if it's a little bit cold, she might duck out or just listen or watch online. But she'll be at a lot of the games, regardless of whether she's there or not. That doesn't affect me a whole lot. I'm not particularly superstitious. She'll be at quite a few games. That's part of the beauty of it, right? We're in Virginia now. The weather's a little bit better, so she'll be out there quite a bit.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Coach Michael Mulvey, for Hampton-Sydney Tiger Baseball on WFLO Sports.
And listen to Local Sports, the Local Sports Report, Mondays, 7 a.m., and then Thursdays, 12 noon, brought to you by Ellington Energy right here on WFLO AM 870. And we thank Luke Lindquist for his interview with new Hampton-Sydney baseball coach Michael Mulvey. So we're back with the Call Flow radio show, so we have time to take callers if you'd like to call in. and bring up anything that may be on your mind or you just want to chew the fat. We'll do that too. 434-394-0924. Unlike some places, we don't cut the fat. We chew the fat. 434-394-0924. So, Noah?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, your mic. Sorry.
I was waiting for my mic to turn on.
Were you waiting for that?
I was waiting for that.
No, well, now you don't have to wait anymore.
Well, John, yeah. Hey, how's it going, sir?
I'm going. How are you?
Doing well, John. Doing well.
Good.
Yeah, this interview has been jam-packed full of surprises, I must say. And yeah. The car thing, though, really threw me for a loop, though, this morning, my car not starting.
Yes.
Because, I was trying to rush here and the car wasn't working. But, yeah, I mean, I think today's show has been great. We had a little fill-in of what's going on at the Longwood University Theatre.
Yes.
And then this nice little sports fill-in, so,
and that would be the one about Little Women.
Little Women, yes, the Broadway musical.
Mm-hmm. February 20th through the 22nd at 7 p.m. and the 23rd at 2 p.m. All shows in Jarman Auditorium.
Mm-hmm.
Jarman Auditorium.
Jarman.
Don't squeeze my Jarman Auditorium. You don't get the reference because it's don't squeeze the Charmin. Toilet paper.
Nah. Okay.
Never mind. So anyway, you can get those tickets now at the box office, Joan Perry Brock Center, weekdays from 10 to 4 or online at longwood.edu/box office. That's longwood.edu/box office. Don't miss this musical masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've done my due diligence. So.
Yes, you did, John. You sure did.
Guess who's having a birthday today?
Who's
Singer Yoko Ono
Mm-hmm.
turns 92. Remember, if she married Sonny Bono, her name would actually be...
Go for it. Say it.
Yoko Ono Bono.
Mm-hmm.
She's 92. Here's your fun fact. Was nominated for a Grammy in 82 for Best Female Rock Vocal.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I don't know. I don't buy that.
Well, maybe it was an honorary thing. I don't know. Actress, it didn't say she won, just said she was nominated.
Not. Yeah.
Actress Sybil Shepherd turned 75. Here's your fun fact. She's originally from Memphis, Tennessee. Mm. She actually dated Elvis at one point. Come here, Sybil.
Mm-hmm.
Come here, Sybil. Give me some. Anyway, who else do we have here? Actor, your boy, John Travolta, turned 71.
Yeah.
Fun fact, his daughter Ella is also an actor.
Wow. That's fun.
Wow, wacky stuff there.
Yeah.
Game show host Vanna White turned 68. Do you know who Vanna White is?
Vanna White. She hosted that, what's that show?
She didn't really host it. She was kind of like the girl that turned the letters.
Sure.
And then they made it so to where she didn't even have to turn the letters. She would walk up to them and they would...
click them.
Yeah, and it
just like pretend
automatically
to
light up. And it was like, well, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of cool when she was turning it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they were trying to lessen the workload on her. I don't know. Actor Matt Dillon turned 61. I was just talking about Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon. I was curious as to his middle name is Ray. That's your fun fact. Raymond is his middle name. Now, Matt Dillon, to some people, when I say that name, they think the marshal on Gunsmoke.
Of course, yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's what his parents, they named him that because either they named him that or that was his name he thought up. You know, I used to like Gunsmoke. I'm going to call myself Matt Dillon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, he turned 61 today.
Interesting.
Could have gone with Festus. But I guess that just doesn't have...
Festus was not, limping around.
People may not go to see a movie with Festus in it.
What was the story of Festus? He got shot in the leg.
No, that's Chester.
Yeah.
Because that show was on so long. It was black and white. When it first came out, it was only a half-hour show.
Yeah.
And, well, here's the other fun fact of Gunsmoke. It started as a radio program. And that, when television took over, they let's make it for television. And so anyway, so you had the black and whites that were like a half hour with Chester, who for whatever reason that actor decided to go with the limp. So he had to keep doing it, and he said he regretted that. And years later, I'm like, I could have told you that.
Yeah. Did he develop an actual limp from pretending so long?
I don't know. He might have had a stiffness in the leg, maybe, but Dennis Weaver, I believe is his actual name. But
it was an interesting creative choice because
I guess, but I don't think he thought the show would last as long as it did. It lasted so long he left, and then Festus came in later. That character.
Yeah.
So there you go. Burt Reynolds was on Gunsmoke. It ran so long before he became a
big movie star.
Big movie star. Looking at the time, aren't you? No,
I was just
whittling away.
I was just checking
at the time
where we're at.
Your boy rapper Dr. Dre turned 60,
Dre.
And your fun fact awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2024. I don't know how much you're being awarded a star because you actually have to pay for it.
You'll have to mention that fact, John. Every time that comes up, you
I
always
just find it
mention
odd that they word it as they were awarded.
Because I'm sure you have to make some qualifications to in order.
Yeah, the qualifications are dinero.
No. It's not like you could just get a star on the Hollywood Walk.
Oh, I could.
If
I had the money.
No.
Actress Molly Ringwald turns 57.
Sure.
Do you know who she is?
It sounds familiar.
You don't. That's okay. She was like all the main girls in the John Hughes films.
Okay.
For the most part. Now, obviously, she wasn't in certain ones like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But she was in Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, movies like that. Also, The Breakfast Club. Here's your fun fact. One of her first TV roles was on Different Strokes and The Facts of Life, which those two shows were sort of held into the same universe, if you will. Because sometimes those characters would come onto each other's shows.
Sure.
So there was like a connection there. Kind of like Magnum P.I. and Simon and Simon. Different, but the same. Okay, anybody you see on the birthday list?
Speaking of John Hughes movies and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I'm still shocked. I didn't realize, what's the guy's name?
Michael Hall?
Sheen, Charlie Sheen.
Oh, Charlie Sheen.
He was in that movie.
Which one?
Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
That always surprises me.
That he appears there for a little bit?
Yeah, for a brief second.
I know. Yeah. I can tell you the story of why he appeared.
Why is that?
All right. So the actress that's sitting on the couch with him, Jennifer Grey, who ended up in Dirty Dancing, they were in a movie together called Red Dawn. And when John Hughes was thinking of getting some actor to play the part of the guy on the couch, she suggested Charlie Sheen because they had just done Red Dawn together. And to get the look that he had, unlike what he started to do later in life, he stayed up all night. And for like a couple of nights in a row to get that look of
deranged,
being wired and on something. So there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's your little fun fact tidbit for the day. We had a good one. We'll do it again tomorrow. You and Chris.
All right. Yeah.
Chris and you.
Chris Wood. Yep.
I will not be here.